growing up in the Midwest, you had a few options for what you would do for summer work. When school wasn't in session, you could either go work at the drive-thru, or you could do what I did, and you could choose to do manual labor on the farm. I really had a lot of fun working on the farm. I mean, I got a lot of sunburn, and there was a lot of crazy characters we would meet on the farm. One such character, who will be the jumping off point for the topic of today, I'll never forget. This guy, he had a beard and a mustache. And one day I noticed that half of his mustache was comprised of nose hairs. That's right, half of his mustache was coming from his nose out into his mustache. And I will never forget that. And you meet a lot of interesting people working in farm life, but this guy had some major nose hairs, and this is the jumping off point for our video today. Last week, I was at a mixed martial arts gym doing a presentation on athletic breathwork, and I had the question, Jesse, should I pluck my nose hairs? Should I trim these things? I mean, what is the deal with nose hairs? Of course, we had just done a whole talk about the importance of nasal breathing, but what importance does those little hairs in your nose, those cilia, what are they there for? So we're just gonna knock this out real quick. So your nervous system, okay, it is in charge of the immune system. A lot of times we think about the immune system like it's just a bunch of chemistry sets, like, okay, I've got these blood cells, I've got this chemical, I've got that chemical, it's these fluids that are coming around in my body. When in reality, it's a lot more than that. There's physical structures that make up your immune system as well. So your nervous system is always watching all these things, and there's parts of the nervous system which are your immune system, and it's there to make sure there's nothing in you that is not you, right? It's all just like, okay, this should just be Jesse. So your immune system actually starts, when it comes to your respiratory system, your immune system starts at your nose. And one of the biggest reasons why we talk about nasal breathing, you've probably heard about it. If you haven't, hey, here it is. We have these things in our sinuses called turbinates. So these turbinates are in our sinuses, and they will humidify the air, they will cool the air, heat the air, depending on the outside temperatures. They're covered in mucus, which is awesome because this mucus has all of those killer cells just waiting to jump on whatever gets caught in those turbinates, right? So as long as you are hydrated, those turbinates will clasp on to a lot of, really most of what goes through your nose when you breathe. Now, yes, there are some things that are too small and they pass through, but the vast majority of what's in that air, it gets caught by those turbinates. Now, okay, so those turbinates are great, but what about the nose hairs? Well, the problem is that the turbinates, they can only do so much, right? If you think about it, you've got this team in there, and how much are you sending to that team in order to sort out and to say, okay, pick out all the bad stuff? So your nose hairs are there as kind of like a first level defense. The cilia is there to grasp onto things. And the interesting thing is that your nose hairs, they have a lot of mucus on them too. Of course, we know about boogers. Hey, we can say that on this channel. We'll talk about boogers. But essentially what happens with the nose hairs is they filter things out before they get to your turbinates. That is the essential key to your nose hairs. So when you're asking yourself, should I pluck them? Should I trim them? So the answer is twofold. One is that your nose hairs are there for a reason. Yes, you want to have nose hairs, so don't be afraid of nose hairs. The other thing is though, you may have a wife like I do who will complain if a nose hair is poking out of your nose, right? I've had friends who will send me pictures because those are friends, right? Real friends send you gross pictures because, hey, we're friends. They'll send me pictures of, hey, look what I just pulled out of my nose. I'm like, oh my God, thanks for that. Thanks for that. But the thing is, ultimately you want to keep as many nose hairs as you can, because what you're trying to do, it's not that the nose hairs themselves are doing a lot of that major lifting, but what you're trying to do is have the nose hairs catch as much as possible before they get to your turbinates, which is kind of the last line of defense before you start to breathe down into your lungs. And then you do have a lot of immune system function down here in the lungs as well, but it's so much better if you can get it taken care of in the sinuses, where it's really designed to take care of those things before it gets into your respiratory system. You tell me, how do you handle your nose hairs? And why do you do that? Is it because of loved ones? Is it, hey, are you still a dating person? Are you dating still? See, I've been married now, I guess, like, I don't know, over a decade. You tell me, what do you do with your nose hairs? I'd love to find out. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope this has been a fun episode. Check out all of my other links down below. If you haven't read my books, please read them. I mean, I did spend some time writing them. And check out the breathwork sessions that we're going to be sharing here on this channel. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.